long-awaited benching that we've been talking about, quite frankly, since the Raiders game of week 2 last year. John Harbaugh, heading into the bye on Monday, he didn't seem very happy that the Ravens did not punch it in from the 1-yard line with 3 different tries last game against the Rams, nor should he be. And he actually seemed like, Bobby, he might be at the end of his rope with some players along the offensive line. And he said, listen, when asked if there would be a change across the offensive line, he said everything's on the table. When he was specifically asked about some of the guys that are behind Daniel Fa'alele, he said, yeah, those guys, it'll be a little mini tryout during the bye week. We've heard big talk about the offensive line before with no real changes. But Jeff Zrebeck took some mailbag questions. And he thinks this time it might be different. So he was asked by a reader at The Athletic, do you get the sense that they will be looking to make any changes along the offensive line during the bye week? I know Harbaugh said everything is on the table, but it also seems that some players such as Fa'alele are quote-unquote Harbaugh guys who, regardless of what we see on a play-by-play basis, won't actually be moved from the lineup. Okay, that was from a reader, Stephen J.
Yeah.
Here's what Jeff says. He says, I do get that sense. I know Harbaugh has said he was considering offensive line changes before week 6 and nothing changed. But it wasn't hard to detect the frustration in his comments after Sunday's game about that goal line sequence, and again during his comments Monday. Heading into week 6, I would have probably told you that I thought Fa'alele was the better player than Andrew Voorhees. However, Voorhees was much better against the Los Angeles Rams, and they also did a lot more outside zone. So maybe that helps him. And they've had more success with that. So then Jeff goes on to say, I'd be moderately surprised if Ben Cleveland and or Corey Bullock weren't given a shot to start after the bye. So, Bobby, we've been asking for it. We've been practically begging for it. And even though some of the anonymous players also took aim at Todd Monken, 2 things can be true at once. Todd Monken may need to be more creative, but also some changes may need to be made at the offensive line position, especially guard. Are you with Jeff? Do you also get the sense that a change will actually be made at right guard when we come back and watch them play against the Bears?
Well, it's hard to have a sense for that when John Harbaugh kind of continues to, one, say things like he did leading into the Rams game, which is that everything's on the table, which is what you've alluded to, and then not make any change and get very similar results. But knowing that now Lamar, hopefully much more healthy, of course, coming off the hamstring and the extra time that he's had, which will be, 3 weeks when it's all said and done, if he does indeed return for Sunday. Hopefully him being back will send that warning signal throughout whatever part of John Harbaugh's mind it needs to get through to him that something has to change. It's beyond time. And so, yeah, do I have a sense? No. But can I have some hope? I guess.
I have a little bit of a sense with Jeff here also.
Okay.
Given how frustrated John Harbaugh was. In the past, would you agree that John Harbaugh has more defended Daniel Fa'alele? Yes, he has. And this time, he wasn't defending him. He did say either a week or 2 weeks ago that he's like, hey, if you didn't have the development that we expected, maybe it's time to give somebody else a try. I remember that quote because I was in Dallas at the time and we talked about it. Okay, but did he have enough time to make that change before the bye? Then when he was already leaning that way, saying, you're just not making the development we thought you would, which I think for sure he's got to be talking about either Voorhees or Daniel Fa'alele, but especially Fa'alele. And then he's like super ticked. No, we should be getting in. We should be getting in 3 tries from the 1 where he's letting his frustration out. That to me, I'd be with Jeff. I'm telling you, Bobby, I will be on my Twitter. And for all of the reporters that are there, and they always give a report pre-game of who's along the offensive line, I swear on my life, if Daniel Fa'alele is still in there, I am going to be with I'm going to be with Jeff. I will be moderately surprised, but very upset.
I totally understand both of your logics on this.
Yeah.
And I see what you're getting at here in terms of the tone shift.
Yes.
Definitely. But I still it's like he stood by him.
You don't want to get right? Hopes up. That's what I'm feeling.
It's just like he has been so loyal to him to a fault. And we've seen this with other players in the past that I can't sit here and be like, yeah, Sarah, that's got to be it. It's got to be. This is the time. Like, I just don't have that confidence that something's going to change. Now, with the timeline that you've I think you've put this forth really wisely in the sense that it would have been a short week to make that change going into Rams week with a different quarterback, perhaps two different quarterbacks that they were planning on playing, like we heard about, right? And they did end up playing too. We know that. But now that you have that window of time, and now you have a new fresh week starting, install day will be, of course, coming up on Wednesday. All the time that you had to prepare for Chicago, knowing that Lamar's coming back, it would make a lot of sense. I just can't quite get there yet.
Okay. Well, this is another reason why they need to. Okay. Check this out. This chart came out while we were out. This is not coming from Jeff. Maybe we can take that banner off. There was this graph that came out from @FBall_insights. Okay. So Football Insights, where they look at how often a quarterback leaves the pocket. Okay. But not only that they leave the pocket, but the reasons for leaving the pocket. I love this chart. It probably isn't surprising to any of us, but validating that Lamar Jackson, number one in the league of the percentage of the times that he has had to leave the pocket. Or I shouldn't say had to, that he left the pocket. Okay. So he's number one in the league at 30%. But then you need to drill down and say, well, why is he leaving the pocket? Bobby, it is also number one in the league that he is leaving the pocket because the pass rush is getting to him. He's getting pressure. Of the 30 times that he leaves, the 30% of the times that he leaves, almost 70% of the time, the reason is because of the pass rush and pressure. 70% of the time. Go look at Josh Allen. He leaves 26% of the time, but only 47% because of the pass rush. Patrick Mahomes, he leaves 26% of the time, but only 27% of that is because of the pass rush and pressure. Look at how dark blue that is compared to everybody else for Lamar Jackson. Now, bail is the first one. Bail is you leave not because of somebody made you. It's because you chose to. Lamar has only bailed 8.3% of the time. Then they have the boot and the roll. One is going to the strong side. One is going to the opposite side. That's usually a little bit more, oftentimes, like the bootleg that can be designed. Lamar Jackson leads the league in leaving the pocket and then leads the league of leaving the pocket by far because he's pressured to do so. Yes, the offensive line, not just because of that 3-down sequence against the Rams. It's because you need to protect your franchise quarterback.
Yeah. The only counter, I guess the only context that I'm thinking about with this chart, and first of all, the numbers are the numbers. Like you said, that 70% number. What was the next closest?
Okay, let me pull this back up.
You tallied up. Yeah, sorry. If you could.
That's right. Actually, let's go to this. You're asking for pressure, not just leaving the pocket?
Yeah.
Pressure, this person went through and got the amount of times they leave total because of pressure. Lamar 21, then Caleb, then Hurts, then May.
Okay.
Then Baker, then Allen, then Jaden, Love, Radler, Ward, Herbert, Dart, Stroud, Fields.
Yeah, I got you. So what I was just basically trying to do was I was looking for one area of perhaps optimism or context or whatever, because the chart that you had up at first was weeks 1 through 6. Obviously, he didn't play week 5 and 6. So
but it's percentages. It's still percentages.
Correct. Right.
Yeah, it's not raw total, so it still should translate.
It does. And I was looking for an out for them, right? I was looking for something to hang your hat on for this offensive line, but it's all percentages. So even with that, that's not a list that you want to be on. And that list is also indicative of probably why he's been hurt.
Well, so that's on the offensive side of things. Jeff Zrebiec and me are anticipating a change at right guard and would be moderately surprised if it doesn't happen. Meanwhile, Eric DeCosta is hard at work, as he should be, trying to get in some help. So thank you for changing that for me. I was like looking for the right button.
This is a start. We're both on mountain time.
Audio only people will not know what we're talking about, but the video people probably notice that I'm like trying to get the right things on stage. Anyway, Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network did an article over the week while we were out, detailing what's going on the trade market. And he wrote in an article, he says, the Ravens have been calling around the league for defensive help, which makes sense given GM Eric DeCosta's trade-happy ways and their laundry list of injuries. So Eric DeCosta is out there. He is trying to make a trade. I've said it before. You just have to get in another body in the outside linebacker room. But in terms of how much resources you put into it, two things are going to impact that. Number one, can you get somebody that you feel like will be here long-term? Because you can invest, say, like a second round or something more hefty than a conditional 6th or a conditional 5th, right? If you're going to put in that much resources, you want to make sure it's like a Roquan Smith situation where you feel like you're going to sign them long-term. Number two is, do you want to do it based off of, do you really have a chance to make the playoffs? And so he might be holding off based off of if they can win one, maybe 2 of the next 2 games, starting off with the Bears. Meanwhile, in that same article, because we got 3 minutes till Jack is here, or excuse me, I just want to put this out, because Miami Dolphins are abysmal right now, just got beat down by the Browns this weekend, which we'll talk
and by
about
the way, no changes expected. Rappaport, other NFL insiders for the Dolphins perspective, because the Ravens will see them Halloween weekend or Thursday leading into Halloween weekend. No changes expected there, head coach and quarterback, despite where they are, and 2, benching Tua as they did yesterday.
Question for you. Will the head coach be there?
What do you mean by that?
You said according to the head coach, and I'm saying, will the head coach still have a job?
Well, it was according to the NFL insiders.
Yes.
Like Rappaport and others, they're saying, oh, are you talking about come Ravens Dolphins? Will Mike McDaniel be there?
I'm saying you had said that the NFL insiders tweeted this based off of what the coach and quarterback said, correct? Did I hear that right?
No, based on their sources, they're not expecting any change within Miami. And I know Ravens fans can empathize with that frustration given what's going on there.
Okay, well, they might be a little delusional, but maybe we're delusional here in Baltimore. Maybe we're all delusional together, because according to Jonathan Jones, he saw that Matthew Judon was a healthy stretch for the Dolphins, and he's like, maybe that indicates that they're keeping him healthy for a pick swap. So he thinks that Judon could be traded. And to be honest with you, in that same report, Rap Sheet named several guys that could be up. So he talked about a lot of the guys at the Miami Dolphins. There's Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, and of course, Matthew Judon. He talks about New England Patriots outside linebacker Anthony Jennings. He's been demoted on their depth chart. I don't know that we want a demotion there. And then the New York Jets outside linebacker Jermaine Johnson. I mean, there's people out there, but this is the problem: is you can. EDC, as he reported here, I'm sure is working the phones, but you got to have 2 to tango. And if Ian Rappaport is reporting correctly that the Miami Dolphins are like, yeah, we're not giving anybody up, like they may be delusional, thinking, hey, we can turn this around. We can turn this around. So hopefully EDC can make something happen. Oh, and one more thing in that article, people have asked about Simmons over at the Titans. Yeah, there's a lot of paragraphs saying, no, the Titans are open for business, but not for Simmons. So that's what they're saying. So Eric DeCosta is going to have to work with some of these other GMs and where they might be at.